Hala, naglag!
Raise your weapon, sing a song. War is here, we waited so long. Prepare, my brothers.
the Morphling, or at least it counters.
It's like a term from card games is like the top of the stack, right? Like the effect that has no counter. There's
We've seen.
Look at what they ban out, right? It would be one thing, because I understand the value of the Mirana. This hero provides a ton of utility, super high win rate. Gambit's very confident with it, and it's multi-role.
It's just a good hero, too.
Technically, AA is too, and it gives you, like, the hard counter. Like, you cannot pick this now, and if you want to, it is answered. That's the kind of drafting that I feel is just where we're headed towards as a scene. If you think about all these, like, I win heroes that are almost always going to be picked up in the first two or dead last.
And now you're kind of playing catch up, right, in the draft. Like your next pick or two has to address the Morphling that you knew was coming, and then at that point they're already addressing your new heroes. It just puts you on the back foot, and sometimes against like really good drafters you can't really come back from that.
That's a really good point. Like when you're behind after the opener, you need to address the past, whereas the enemy side now you're banning out AAOD. They go for the Jakiro. It's nice, but it's still not really going to deal with the Morph, and they're ready. Like TNC, this is their bread and butter. They've already played Ogre twice in this tournament, won both games, and like it's Morph Shaker, man.
Immediate axe.
Okay, so
Gambit know what TNC are going to pick too. This is good.
I feel like Gambit's just picking what they want, not what's good against. This is completely nothing to do with TNC's lineup. The Axe isn't particularly good against any of these heroes. It just goes well. Axe Moran is a strong lane. It gives them the initiator they need. Void doesn't really ever want to be the hero that goes first. It's kind of awkward to just chrono somebody. But like Jakiro gives them some push. It goes well with the Void, but it's not good against Morph.
None of these heroes are really good against Morph, to be honest. And the issue is that you're playing against like the broken Morph. And this is a team as well.
Shaker Morph.
They're going to be playing this the way I think it needs to be done in comparison to how we saw it executed in the previous day, where Tim's was going to get the blink, and then he's going to get an Ags, and then all of a sudden it's double trouble.
Yeah, and also SCA I think is by far the best region for Morph. I think 2 or 3 of the best Morphling players in the world are all from SCA. They all, I mentioned it, platinum level Dota plus. Like they've played it so many times.
It's the I always hated using this term mechanical skill, but you can there's a couple of heroes where you really see where players have an edge over their competition. PL, how fast can you doppel delta split? Morphling, how well do you switch back and forth? There's almost no delay. It's as if you're playing 2 heroes.
It really is,
when it's done properly. And it's incredibly difficult to do, as most people that have tried it. It's why in pubs, Morpheus is like under 50% win rate.
For sure.
I think, in fact, Morphling is under 50% in pro game, but with the Shaker, when the right teams are playing it, you can see why it's broken.
It looks terrifying.
I was going to say it's partly why it's been nerfed.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. They're balancing it around these players that if you don't, it's kind of like Earthspear, right? Like Earthspear is just in the ground now because there are so many amazing Earthspear players. And if you're just a casual player, say like a 4K player, and you're just trying to learn Earth Spirit, like good luck, right? You're trying to play a hero that's balanced around crit. So I don't know. I love to watch good Morphlings, but at the same time, we talked about it earlier, I'm kind of fed up with how Morphling's been balanced recently. Like I want this whole Morphling Shaker thing to be done because I like Morphling as a hero. I think he's really cool, but now he's kind of just one-dimensional. His like laning stage was nerfed a lot. That's kind of what they did. They nerfed like his attributes shifted level 1, and I believe his waveform cooldown, like they did like a ton of things. Everything on his abilities early.
It just doesn't address, it's similar to me, if you remember back when Terrorblade kept getting little tweaks, but still stayed meta, still was picked first 2, still carried games. And it was like, all right, for the love of God, can we just make it so you can't stun to BKB targets? Like that was the issue.
Reflections removable now.
You had this mechanic that was just busted. It doesn't matter how much you nerf the early game, at a point you're just going to hit a Sunder on a hero and you go from 2% to 100%, and it's like, oh, hey.
It's like if they remove this broken mechanic on Morphling, suddenly they can like rebalance the hero around the early game, making him not so weak anymore or whatever. And I just like how TNC, the difference between what we saw earlier with the Morphling, I think, is that the whole team as well as the player knows exactly what they need to enable it. They haven't seen the offlaner yet, so they just picked this generic Ogre hero to support it, and they know they'll be able to rotate either Tiny or Earthshaker like 5 to 6 minutes into the game to free up the Morphling's lane. That's exactly what they did, because the Morphling was getting slaughtered.
Yeah.
And then you just kill the offlaner once or twice, and then suddenly the morphling, you say, okay, you're survivable now. Like, we're going to take over the game on the rest of the map. You do your own thing, you get an Ags.
They're big bodies, too. You want heroes, especially against Void Axe. You don't want to be in a scenario where the morph is hitting the tower and everybody else is kind of waiting in the wings. You need somebody to go find these initiators, accept damage, and even death, so that your morph now has the freedom to play the fight properly.
That's a March specialty, by the way. Walking into the opponent's smoke ganks and dying. That's why he usually plays the undying.
I was going to say, let's run in and press a button.
Yeah, he's probably a 5 Abaddon player, too, when it was popular, because that's like the perfect support to just walk into them.
I have to tell you, there's been quite a delay. We've been talking, obviously, because there was a lot of indecision on Gambit's side. They had the coach out. The book came out as well. They had a look through some of the drafts. I would imagine probably TNC's draft, and we're trying to figure out which way they were going. They've ended up banning the Beastmaster.
I don't mind that.
After
they don't have
2 minutes of discussion.
They don't have this like early tower pressure hero.
I don't think that was going to be the pick from TNC.
No, I'm just saying, I don't mind the ban because it fits that description.
I definitely do. I think that if you look at Beastmaster,
but it means they lost.
The same hero.
It means they lost. I have no idea what TNC are going to run now.
I feel like they're going to go for your typical spell casting.
You're going to go like a Leshrac or what?
Something
I think they
similar,
need that,
right? Maybe a Lina, a Lesh.
Do TNC ban the TA here?
You could, but
would it be a nice fit for Gambit?
They banned Lina, so I think Leshrac's their pick.
You got options.
My God, yeah.
I think
Christ,
TA.
where's the how do we not pick up on the fact that the Leshers managed to get through all of the bans?
Maybe that's too much magic damage. Maybe they'll do something like DK as like a frontliner.
I like that.
Oh, this hero again.
The offlane Venom.
Yeah, okay, they have two melee side laners, two melee side laners.
The key is that
Venom again.
it is utility, it's magic damage, it does what they need to do, it's super high damage. This means now your Tiny can make plays in the mid lane. Yeah, sure, Gambit, you've got last pick mid, but who cares? It's a Tiny, he's not going to lose a matchup. And you've guaranteed got damage, plus more importantly, this tool of acquiring vision. And if you look at TNC's lineups, every single game they've got some method of acquiring it. They had a Slark Chen creeps in one game, Night Stalker. They love these heroes, high ground tombstones we talked about with the March Undying. Now you can place wards. If it hits Axe, all of a sudden you know where he is. He can't blink in. The only initiation left for Gambit is the Void. And if they don't have a proper taunt to start off, they're going to be in trouble.
Let's learn from previous mistakes of other teams and not give this Veno a solo lane. I've said that the reason this hero's not meta is his 1 through 3 levels is like crap.
He's like
once he gets past that, once you get past that, this hero's actually really good.
Yeah, Poison Sting is an insane mechanic.
Yeah,
if you get 4 points in it, you're level 7. 1 auto attack is like 300-400 damage.
I think it's 450. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I think I want to see them try laying the shit out of this Veno. Like I don't even care if you sacrifice your axe a little bit. Like you let him cut, he'll come back. I think you're going to be able to have this window where you can punish the morph, even if it gets off to a decent start, as long as you shut down the Veno, because I don't think they can deal with this Veno.
My problem is that it's just which lineup's easier to execute.
Yeah.
I see Gambit needing to have these crazy team fights with great initiation, a good chrono, and Volker needs to have a good laning phase. All TNC has to do is get a Morphling Ags, and they're going to run at the enemy with all their stuns, disables, and one fight, and they're going to win the game. You're not going to be able to outscale Morph here, and I think they've got like an 80-20 edge, plus they're playing better. To me, this is their sweet spot, and I love them for this game.
Yep, looks very good as far as the draft is concerned, Brian. In terms of TNC, Gambit harder to execute, but is it possible?
I have a little bit more faith in Gambit than Kyle does, but at the same time, I'm yet to. I think TNC is just ownage at this type of strategy.
They are.
So,
all right, good stuff. Thank you very much. Let's head to our commentary team for this one. Cap and Blitz are ready to bring you our third series of the day.
Well, we've heard the panel's thoughts on the odds of this game. 80-20, that is very strong odds to ever lay down. Yes, 80-20 to favor of TNC. BSJ was a little bit more hesitant. He had a little bit more faith in Gambit here. And I do have to agree. I do like TNC's lineup. From what we saw from them yesterday, they make this really good. But do you agree with Kyle? 80-20? Is it really that big of an outdraft?
No. I think Gambit's going to win.
Oh. Are you saying that just so you can be on the opposite side of Kyle?
No, I think like, there's two ways to deal with Faceless Void. Either you outpace him, or where, like, it comes to the fact where if he pops a chrono, he doesn't do enough damage, and then he's a useless hero, right?
Yeah.
Because Void is his chrono. So that usually means like you need a few conditions. Like if you pick Void, for one, you really need damage. Like you need an outside source of damage for his mid game because you need some other hero to carry you through the mid game, and I think they have that with Invoker, with the Mirana, with especially the Jakiro. Like I think all these heroes are very good at supporting Void's DPS problems early on. Plus, they don't really have a save for the Chronosphere.
Well, we heard Blitz. He says it's a much more even game, and apparently so does the audience, the GG bet odds being a lot more even.
Yeah, I'd say it's like 60-40 maybe, but like 80-20 implies that there's very little...
Somebody got hard out-drafted.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that.
There's certainly going to be the advantage of Gambit having this good team fight combo in that they have the Chronosphere, Invoker, Jakiro, Mirana. You have a lot to lay into that Chronosphere. Same goes for a good Axe Call. So they've got really good elements to make up a good team fight around a Chronosphere or a successful call. You know, and they do have some scary late game as well.
It means that you have to, like, if you're TNC, I feel like you have to do really well in the lanes, and you need to always get the jump first.
Well, that is something that's always going to be true for off-lane Venomancer, right? Is that you really do need to have a good laning phase. They talked about it on the panel. They said, do not give this Venomancer a 1v1. Like the last time it was matched in TNC, KP was able to have a strong 1v1 and just dominated the first 25 minutes of the game with his Boots of Travel build. We'll see if he's able to do the same here against a Void plus Jakiro. Jakiro probably being one of the most adept supports at challenging a Venomancer, I guess. I mean, he's ranged and he's tanky.
He's the ranged ogre.
Yeah.
You know, they're just both fat. They have tons of HP to start. Jakiro's got 740. Ogre, in fact, only has 700, but it's Ogre's 8, like the preposterous 8 armor.
Yeah.
That really makes him such a good safe lane support.
Let's see, that poor Mirana, who has long had a little bit of damage issues. As you can see, starting out in 47. Against 8 armor, he's like tickling March.
Yeah, KP's having a free game right now, too, by the way. Like, he's already level 2. Mid GPK. Oh, this feels really bad.
Yeah.
Having to waste half your mana already on Ghostwalk. Like, level 1 Ghostwalk, if you hover over it, it's 200 mana. That's actually so brutal towards mid lane.
So that Jakiro's just not able to stop the Venomancer, huh? I mean, he got the first 2 ways to be able to push in, got the levels. They're going to come back with a Fisher. They know Ghostwalk is on cooldown. It's a lengthy one. Armel will be able to get the toss up in the air to finish off the Invoker for first blood.
This is a very nice rotation by Tims, recognizing there's no Ghostwalk. This is a free kill.
And at the start of the laning phase, you know, if you just have to trade off regen in order to get solo experience, that's probably fine for a Venomancer. Now he's level 3, so he's getting into that very dangerous territory with the high levels of Poison Sting.
I think they sort of mess up in this bottom lane. Like, I think the way that you win this lane is, unfortunately, Void probably has to sacrifice a little bit of his CS.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing is, like, when I'm a support, when my carry just runs at the enemy offlaner to begin.
Yes.
And you set the tempo of the lane, you burn off a lot of his regen, and you make it so that he can't approach a creep wave.
Yeah.
But Dream and FNG, it felt like they're way too comfortable in this lane. Just like, let's trade out farm.
Yeah. And that specifically could be a bit more on Dream. FNG's kind of done everything he can to try and challenge KP, but Dream...
The problem with this hero is, like, once you get levels and you don't immediately burst him, he just slows you, and it's really hard to kill him at that point.
Yeah.
Because it's just annoying to go for him. Like, right now, this is what I'd like to have seen in the beginning, where they're just getting aggressive on him. They might still kill him if... I think he's got a bash.
Oh, he's got a bash.
He's got another one.
A little bit of body blocked, and with the slowdown, KP's definitely dead. They don't even need a second bash out from Dream. So, evening up the score now, 1-1. See a top lane Shotchula doing his creep pulling shenanigans.
Yeah, this is what I'd really like to see in this bottom lane. Just, if you're a support, you're not really sure, or if you're a carrier, I should say, try to help your support establish lane control.
Mm-hmm.
This is very easily doable, especially when it's a 2-on-1 situation. When it's a 1-on-1 or a 2-on-2, it's a little bit different. Like, the dynamics of it change a little bit. Most of the time, like, carries can't really contest nowadays. But if you're support, make life easy for everybody involved.
Armel dropping very low from a king coming in from Vampire and GBK. Saved by Tims. Tims, who did say that he would take the 30 million or whatever from a TI win.
What was it like?
You never play Dota again?
You quit Dota?
I think you can only play Dota at like the 1K MMR level.
I see. Would you take that?
Dog, I'm a commentator. I'm not a Dota 2 player. I don't have a retirement fund like those guys do. I would instantly take that. Financial security? I'll become a League of Legends player. I'll say it for 30 million.
I'm
Sorry,
sure
chat.
there's some guy in chat that's like worth that much money. Chat is honestly all full of like huge chads that have tons of cash. They'd be willing to sponsor that. If you guys hate Cap as a caster, this is how you get him out.
Yeah, pay me.
Me?
I've been going for that deal ever since I joined Dota at the start.
Just become.
They're like, who's this guy? He's not Toby. Pay me to leave then.
Yeah, that's why I'm quitting casting, dude. Some dude gave me like $45 in a coupon to like Target. I'm out.
It wasn't even Target. It was Kmart, be honest.
Oh boy.
Shotchelo is, I mean, you're talking about like getting free farm and doing well for yourself in the lane. Venomancer is still being contested. Shotchelo has the total free farm. March left that lane pretty quickly, and as most supports kind of have to do. Like once the axe gets level 2, maybe if you're a strong support, level 3 is when you finally have to leave the lane, but you can't contest the axe. Oh, they do manage to stop his TP away. Not that they can actually kill him, of course. But
yes, but it's mildly annoying.
he has been inconvenienced. His farm is slowed down. He's going to have to walk over to the shrine.
Radiant are
He's got 2,000 gold in the bank. Who the hell is using the courier this much? Somebody let Shotchelo buy some items, man.
Let me just say, as an... Oh, nice kill.
Pick up on the support while trying to secure the runes, which was top instead.
Radiant's bottom
Axe. He can cut creep wave as much as he wants, but he cannot stop the Morphling from being able to farm. This Venomancer, though, putting pressure on that bottom lane tower. Going to take it super early, it looks like. Trying to protect the Siege Wagon as long as he could, but over the top lane. Gabby. Morphling's a pretty good hero to deal with Axe, I feel.
Especially with the Morbid Mask. The problem with when you play Axe in this kind of situation is like you're getting a lot, but you're essentially giving this guy absolute free farm and a dead lane. Like he doesn't need any supports. He can farm under his tower no problem. There are a few carries that don't like this, but like Morph, he doesn't hate it. It doesn't bother him in the least. You never have kill potential on him, and you just give him free XP up here. So
You
essentially,
can't battle hunger harass him either. It's like...
Yeah, you're just trading farm right now.
That's why Shotchelo is trying to pull to the neutrals when he can. This bottom lane, they weren't able to do it with the first Siege Wagon, and I feel like that's an important marker because it is difficult, I think, to finish off the tower without the Siege Wagon. Just because you're like very likely to either get the tower denied, you like want another core to rotate in to make sure this bounty does go in your favor, and that's where Armel's going to come in. He's going to sneak by the tower, pick up FNG, try and finish him off, but the Chronosphere does go down, not in time to be able to save the Jakiro. GPK, though, in beautiful position with the arrow coming in from Excess Vampire as well. That is well comboed. We said there's a lot to lay into this Chronosphere. Armel is still not dead, and he does have wand charges, but I just can't imagine he's getting bashed. All of this one. He's going to get bashed eventually. They do get the tower, and KP, I believe, was the recipient of that tower bounty. He was indeed, but it does cost them 2 lives.
Is this offlane Venom like broken or something? I don't get it. It just seems to work every game.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you already know the side lanes, I think maybe it is a little strong. I think that's the really important part, right?
Yeah.
You know what the side lanes are.
There are some deficiencies to this hero, though. Namely that he's an offlaner or a core that gives you no way to start a fight. So you really need to compensate with having your 4 position be an initiator and your mid hero.
Yeah.
Ideally.
You and Venomancer, fortunately, once you know the side lanes and you do win the laning phase, you are able to create the space that allows your forward position to get that early blink dagger or whatever he needs. In this case, it's Tim's on the Earthshaker. He's going to be the one trying to farm up where he can. Looks like he's going to be sitting mid, while Armel goes between jungling and ganking.
They're pinging on this Morph right now, but they can't really do anything to stop this. He's pretty much just going to get free farm here for the time being.
It looks like we're seeing the Quas Wex build from GBK. Do you like that? Is it just because of Morphling?
It's not bad against Tiny either, because you get a hard reset. Plus, what I think it's really for is to defend your mid tower. Like, the Quaswex build is really good if you want to have impact on an Invoker and you can't just, like, sit down and farm. Eventually, what's going to happen is, if it's anything like the last game, KP is going to TP towards his mid lane at some point, and he's going to try to take down that tower. You can just tornado reset. Veno doesn't really do anything against that.
KP already in position, trying to protect this bounty rune, and Shotchlo. Oh, the cold snap being used by Gabby there to be able to stop Shotchlo.
And the tornado.
He did what he could to try and protect him, but cold snap's just not long enough to Sable.
Sick.
Axe indeed did misjudge. I mean, this is something that I really don't think anybody else has the same kind of hold on. This Venomancer, the way they draft it, when they pick it up, and then on top of that, KP's movements around the map. I mean, he's always there early to bounty runes.
Yeah.
Setting up wards and saying like, hey, you thought you were contesting this? Nope.
I will say it feels really bad playing Axe versus this hero or one of those instant jump heroes, because you're most likely not going to burst him.
Yeah.
And then you get put into a position where, you know, he just gales you, runs away, and you're this Axe just slowly walking at people or trying to get away. And there's no follow-up damage for you until you get like BKB plus like a 4-staff or something. So it makes it so that your Axe has to be a lot more item dependent. Because normally what ends up happening is like Axe calls, then he hungers one person, he's running really fast. Then he just makes his move, right?
March.
Really don't want to have
he was trying to get some aggressive vision down. He does manage to sidestep the arrow here, and they're going to back up. Knowing that Armel was around here, that may tip off March that they had vision of Armel coming.
Yeah, and if you look at KP, he has made the exact same maneuver he did in the game against Liquid. He's going to come towards mid, try to pressure down this tower with this catapult. I'd really like to see them rotate to try to defend this, and it looks like they are, but they do have a sentry down, and the Empire's going to realize that. But
a kill on Gabby.
That shouldn't have happened.
No, I don't think that should have, but it looks like he managed to just like get on top of Gabby, gets a call, and they threw everything they had, including the Macropyre, over the top to finish off the carry of TNC. 4-4, 2,000 net worth lead for TNC as the wall is being built by KP.
Dire's top tower.
He's setting up the wards on the other side of the mid lane, just trying to get some damage on the mid tower.
You know what the worst part about this is they don't really have heroes until the Void gets really strong to deal with the wards.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to mean that their high ground is going to be really hard against this Venomancer. Just like taking towers, it's going to be kind of a problem. Like, you saw that the Jakiros decided to go for 4 levels of the Liquid Fire, but I actually think maybe he would have wanted to just go for the Ice Path build. Because I actually think it's pretty annoying for him to deal with this. Like, if KP's smart, he's always going to be here in position, and he's going to force out this wave, and you're going to feel really useless as a Jakiro because you don't really have enough damage.
That is, I think almost every Jakiro I've been seeing lately has gone for the maxed out Ice Path build. So it is a little curious that FNG choose to go for this. Maybe he thought he would just have a better window to take some map control away from TNC before KP could protect. But
yeah, this Veno is just like a walking black hole. You don't want to be wherever he is. Like, dealing with the wards with the cores does not feel good right now.
Tornado into arrow. Nifty little combo there from Gambit. Secures another kill.
They're just going wherever KP isn't. Nobody wants to deal with these wards, man.
Yeah. It'll fall onto Shotchlo to do that. He is going to try and pick up Hood. Phase Bracer, Magic Wand, Hood, so the full tanky build before he goes back for the Blink. Or maybe not, actually. Looks like he just has the Ring of Health and he's going to go for the Blink Dagger. knows the initiation is all important here. Chronosphere being used to try and ensure the kill onto Armel. The arrow whiffs there. Armel does have enough mana to be able to toss away Dream. Dream does have to heavily commit, though, to be able to get this kill. Now underneath the tier 1 tower, next to some stunners, could be in trouble, but they just don't have enough control, it seems. Excess Vampire now is going to be slowed down by the Gale from KP. He does have a leap charge. He does have another one, too, but he doesn't have the mana for it. So that'll be the trade-off. They had to use Chronosphere, but they get the kill on Tiny.
Oh, look at mid.
Yeah, he's getting the damage. He's using that liquid fire build.
Somebody needs to get here. He's almost got this.
Well, maybe FNG was right. That tower is gonna fall. It's probably gonna be denied. Ooh, that was a little close there.
Nah, the fire was out, dude.
Top tower
They put it out.
All right. March just put it out with his big club.
They gently just...
are fortified.
That's probably what an ogre would do. Tries to fix things by smashing.
Under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Well, that's one tower down. Let's see what else FNG can take here. I mean, this approach is definitely like, it's weird because as a 5 position, it means you kind of have to play away from your team in a way. Like, he was able to do that because his team was bottom, forced rotations, and FNG was just so low down the middle lane.
They really want to kill him. They're in position right now. Is KP being run around the map a little bit, already out of mana. Feels like he's constantly out of mana, in fact.
See him set up for the next round of bounty runes that are coming in.
His net worth is really slowed down.
Yeah. Once again, TNC are going to try and go for 3. Vampire going to be shoved away here by March, and looks like the aggressive play comes out from Gambit at the top side, trying to go for the kill onto Armel. Armel with a toss back, but it's not good enough. The Urn Charge does finish off the Tiny.
And they're going to get the tower. Man, maybe Gambit's sick.
Gambit has...
I told you, man, Kyle is definitely... I thought it was 60-40, but 80-20 is...
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard an 80-20 call from Kyle that's actually gone correctly for him.
I'm not even, like, 80-20 means, like, he's, like, mad confident. It's, like, certain.
Attack.
Well, there's still a lot of game to play.
There is a lot of game to play.
We have a net worth lead, 1K net worth, 2K now for Gambit.
Nice ice path. There's no way to catch up to this guy.
And there's still a very strong mid game for TNC, especially with this blink decker from Armel, which he's going to use to get the toss back onto FNG. That pesky tower pushing 5 will fall.
Blows him a kiss, too.
He knows how much they had to commit just to be able to kill a 5 position. That never feels that good. That's how 5s win in a game, you know?
Yeah.
You don't win really by killing people or taking towers for the most part. You win by dying under okay circumstances.
Radiant's middle tower.
All right, so we chill.
Are scanning.
I guess we just wait. We just wait until the morph gets the Ags, because that's really, to be fair to Kyle, like, once the morph gets Ags, that's when the real game starts, right?
Oh yeah, this whole like Venomancer thing, maybe it's not as successful as the last time we saw it, but at the end of the day, it's just a space creator for the real carry to come through. Do you think that this Morphling Ags can beat Faceless Void?
I think it depends on what like the Void item timing is. Like the Void I mean, they have almost the top 3 cores. Like the morph is obviously ahead because he had a free lane, but I have to imagine, like, if Void gets a BKB, it's going to be really hard for TNC to fight into this.
Yeah.
Part of the problem with, like, having Tiny as a core, and especially, like, the new Tiny, is that so much of his damage, like, his one-shot damage has been nerfed. So it means that, like, Tim's has to have, like, the perfect follow-up. I think a lot of this game actually comes down more to how Tim's plays than anything the rest of his team does. Because, like, the Tiny's going to go in, try to burst down one hero. If it's the Void, he's got 1,800 HP. You can't allow him to get the time walk off after that fact. And they don't have an offlaner that prevents that either, so they need to just, like, lay into him burst. And they have to do that all while avoiding the hard reset of the Invoker.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
That is pretty hard.
You have to avoid getting tornadoed, because if the Void is given an opportunity to just pop BKB, turn around, chrono you, I feel like the fight's over at that point. So that's really what it's going to come down to, is like this initial team fight when the Morph gets Ags and the Faceless Void gets BKB.
Well, we'll have to see who comes out on top when the time does come. But for now, it's just a kind of a pickoff game. It's a slow farming game where people like Armel are going to have the opportunity to move around the map, look for kills. Unfortunately, that invisibility doesn't net him a kill there at the top lane, but it does find him something at the bottom where he TPs over and kills the Mirana XS Vampire. Surely going to know about the defensive vision that is up from TNC.
Yeah, he was spotted all the way through. Yeah. And if you look at the ward vision on the side of Gambit, it usually tells you like how you want to play. Like wards give you a lot of info as to like how a team is thinking.
Okay.
And in this kind of way, it feels like you protect your triangle. You know, they want to. It feels like both teams are okay with farming. Like Morph wants to farm out his Ags, just get bigger. And Gambit is also perfectly okay with that kind of game. Like.
Well, Gabby's got it. Is it time to like smoke up and make the big plays, or? I mean, surely like this Aghanim Scepter is such a big power spike for you.
It is, but if you're gonna do that, you have to smoke because you don't have any aggressive vision at all. It's really interesting where both teams have passive vision, and like both teams are okay with farming. That's why we have these like two highly aggressive teams. It's like 7-7 in 19 minutes.
Yeah,
you just don't have any aggressive vision, so all you're really doing is waiting for the enemy team to come into you.
Well, FNG did tell Slacks that they were, there's the Morphling initiation. They did smoke up between Tims and Gabby, leading with one Fisher. Gabby follows it up with another.
That was like 1400 HP instantly.
Moonlight Shadow.
March.
They're going to find March. Nobody's here. It does net Gambit.
Really don't want them to lose their mid tower for free, though.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty big mistake. So they're going to pop the glyph as soon as they notice. Ron, of course, Invis. KP is on the hunt right now, but not going to run into him, unfortunately. Does he get the catapult? Nice. Good shot.
Wow.
Just threaded the needle perfectly.
Again, though, that's got to tip you off about some sort of vision.
Yeah. So I'd imagine one of the two teams, if anything, depending on how close the Void is to Chrono and BKB, it's got Chrono but no BKB, I would think that TNC probably gets aggressive here. I'd sort of like them to smoke. They're not really in a position where they're waiting for a major item. Maybe they want to wait for the Manta first on the Morph.
Mm-hmm.
But this game is really odd because normally you have one team pushing the issue. It's very rare that you see both teams are completely content with this kind of game.
And we usually talk about the fact that if that's the case, then both teams obviously feel like they are good to be able to farm the game.
Yeah, I think both teams think that they have the better late game.
Have the better late game, and
it's rare, but we'll find out who's right.
KP. I mean, for TNC, it could also just be wait for a good opportunity.
Yeah.
They do have this, like, split pushing of the Venomancer with his boots of travel. They may be able to manipulate the map just enough to find an opening on Gambit rather than just trying to, brute force it because we have this item. Let's go. Let's fight them nonstop.
Yeah, we still have almost exclusively defensive wards placed. Nothing really on, nothing too aggressive.
The defensive ward thing really gets me. The fact that, like, both teams are just like, gotta watch out for those smoke gangs coming our way.
The problem is the Mirana tried once, right?
Yeah, that's true.
To try to get, like, something going, and then I think Vampire learned, like, never again.
Yeah.
And the only time they're getting kills are on, like, these supports that step out across the map. By the way, March is up here completely alone.
They're going to get the chain gun onto this Faceless Void. Are they going to be able to blow him up in time? One shot from Gabby just in time before the Chronosphere or the Time Walk could go off. He gets off the Time Walk or the Chronosphere. He can activate the Shrine, and then that fight could be very, very different. But TNC...
He popped his BKB there, too.
Oh, did he really? He popped it at the end?
Radiant's middle.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I think he even turned, like, slightly to the side, or he might have had time to time walk. That was rough.
Look at this. Gabby's in full control mode now with the gem.
Oh, Oh boy.
Are scanning.
Thank you to KP for that one.
That's so rough that was his BKB too.
Yeah.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Well,
All right, so we're gonna go back to farm mode for Gambit. Nah, I think they should probably take a fight. I think they realize off of that engagement they need to take the fight. They need to be the ones starting things as the call. He literally just leapt from Ancients to his side of the river mid.
yes.
Okay, cool.
That's what the Morphling... I don't know why it does that. I don't know why Morphling needs more cast range. Well, like, he already turns into another hero. Why do you have to make him a hero plus?
Have you seen him with Ogre? When Ogre, with the Ogre Ags and all that?
Oh, yeah.
You get like 10,000 range and you also get the second stun. So you can, if your Ogre has an Axe too, you can literally just perma-stun somebody in place. It's actually hilarious. They can't do anything against it.
Gabby, three-man Fisher into the back line. He goes with a follow-up Fisher out from Tim's. Not quite enough to finish up GPK until the Echo Slam is there. They immediately retreat, and that's the beauty of this kind of lineup, is that you can go in, get a pick off, and so easily get out afterwards. Gambit show up with 4 heroes, but by the time they do, TNC's already gone. They're way in the win.
All right, you know what? Kyle's a genius. It was 80-20. This combo's insane.
Well, right now the score is 8-10 with a 3,000 net worth lead for TNC. So with these pickoffs on these cores, they're not getting themselves a gigantic net worth lead. Gambit is still able to farm up, but Gambit needs to show a little bit of teeth here. They need to show that they can actually step to and get a kill. And that's going to be leading out on KP. KP does get tossed away. A beautiful play by Armel. Bided his time, waited until Tim's TP'd in before he blinks in to save KP's life. That was just beautiful.
Oh, that was so well done. And now Vampire's got to be careful because Gabby with the fissure, the follow-up fissure.
After Fisher, like, how do you stop this? They go for the 4-step. He does manage to get the time lock away. Excess Vampire hits a point-blank arrow onto Tim's. Now Dream, he's holding on to his BKB for now. Wants to make sure he's not getting baited out here. The Sunstrike gonna miss, but March probably still to die here as the Battle Hunger's also ticking out on him. They do manage to get him to the side and finish off Dream. Now with Dream dead, oh, Gabby knows it is fighting time. Once he is dead, he's gonna be able to jump forward, get the kill onto the Mirana. Controlled up by the Axe and FNG's Ice Path to follow, but it's not that much of a deal. After all, he can turn into this Earthshaker and jump a billion range, ignores the Jakiro, goes straight for GPK's Invoker, now turns back into the Invoker. Now he's going to chase over to the Axe, who's like 2,000 units to the left, but hey, there's Gabby. He's everywhere.
This is the greatest thing I've seen. They're just,
It's like some really cruel magic trick is being played on Gambit.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
oh man. You can see that Dream is so confused. He just like, he's walking around the map. If you play a perspective of him, he's trying to look for angles to Chrono, but Gabby, I mean, he's hopping around.
Radiant's top tower is falling.
I mean, this is getting a little embarrassing for Gambit at this point. Like, you haven't used your Chronosphere in like the last 6 or 7 minutes.
I think it's been longer than that, Cap. The last time they used Chrono, and they've had this BKB, which he popped with like that quarter second. That felt terrible. Then they go for the smoke because, I mean, their timing is still alive, but they're just not able to find the initiation. And it's TNC that's just kind of
Has fallen.
walking up on them over and over again.
Is under attack.
I mean,
Radiant are scanning.
this is great. I can't tell if this is broken or not, so I don't want to like say that. I'd say that TNC are playing very well. Like the synergy between their Morph and their Earthshaker is like sick good.
Don't worry about it. I'll say it for you. It's broken. Ice Frog, you crazy.
Under attack.
I will say, like, if you're able to first to this and like consistently win games, that's pretty nuts.
I mean, the cast range is pretty insane. But the mana cost reduction?
All right.
So you get to be 2 heroes longer than anybody else could do that?
You know, I thought it was like 60-40 in favor of TNC, but I'm down with being wrong. I guess this is just a thing.
80-20 it is.
80-20 it is. As we're going to see here again.
One more time.
That's not even, I wanted to see the death on Dream. Like that. Like just the life drain from his eyes. So he doesn't know what to do because every time this guy lands on you, it's like a mini echo slam because it does, when he right clicks you after, it's like 1,000 damage.
Yeah. And like they just chain stun you for almost 5 seconds from like 1,600 range. Okay, that's too much. 1,000 range from the Fisher. Smoke up from TNC. He's going to run into FNG. FNG does manage to get the ice path. They also have the arrow follow-up. Are they going to go for the call follow-up on top of that? Now the Chronosphere on 3, but they do not have control of Gabby. Gabby is immediately going for the kill onto GPK, but who misses it. And thanks to Moonlight,
they're finally doing it.
Get away, and Gambit will win the fight. They not only get those 3, but TNC, well, oh, Gabby's coming back in. He does manage to get the 2 minutes in with the Fisher, trying to go for Dream. Dream hoping for a bash. Time walks away a little bit farther, and Chan Totem straight up in the air, forced down.
I was so wrong.
It's so much damage.
They can 1v5.
No, he's gonna 1v5 them. Don't do it to him. Armel, he's
straight up
trying to help. Gabby's just gonna be able to get that kill on Shotchlo as well. That's the 3 cores dead. Gabby got every single one of them. Now he'll go for the kill on Excess Vampire inside of his base.
Are they gonna call it? Like, that was literally 1v5. His entire team died. There was a buyback, but like, he just kind of went in anyways. He felt so confident. The funny part is, it's very rare in Dota to see a 1v... It was a 1v4 after he killed the Invoker, and they were actually actively running from him.
Yes.
Straight up.
Just insane. Poor GPK, like, he's immediately targeted every single time, and he's just trying to juke Gabby, but Gabby has too much mobility. We'll see that one more time as Gabby came back in after killing GPK.
So now it's a 1v4. Tim's has popped back, but they're all just running away. It's full retreat mode. None of them, I think they correctly assessed that they were not going to win that fight anymore.
I mean, this is why we saw Beast Coast draft a Bloodseeker against this. Because then, at least...
You limit the mobility?
The BKB Morphling as an Earthshaker is totally invulnerable. Yeah, they dumpstered it really hard.
Oh, sweet. Who'd they play?
Virtus Pro.
Oh, okay.
Radiant's bottom
Cool.
shrine is under attack.
Oh, man. It's, It reminds me of just like a horror movie, you know? Like, this guy's just running at you.
The Terminator.
Yeah, what can you do? Is that
Unstoppable force just keeps on coming at you no matter what.
beep boop?
You can't run, you can only hide. But Gabby can look everywhere thanks to Enchant Totem.
Radiant's bottom
Very freely, he can jump into any nook and cranny.
I will say that at least it's entertaining to watch. There are some combos that look really good that are just like boring, but there's really something about being a 5-position support and getting hit by a literal Mack truck.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Like he's farming all the waves, he's killing the towers, and he's still there for the team fight. TNC literally just kind of sit around a general area that Gabby wants to play in.
I mean, my man's is straight up looking like Tarzan. He's just everywhere at once, killing everything.
Swinging through the vines, swinging through the trees.
He is so scary.
Watch out, here he comes. Oh boy.
You can tell how afraid. Gambit are not showing anywhere on the map because they realize if this guy gets within 1,200 range of us, he's going to fissure us and then we're all dead.
He's some sick combination of like the Boogeyman plus what's the Russian version of the Boogeyman? Every single urban legend about some sort of monster. He's just all rolled up into one.
Oh boy. I mean, I'm entertained. There's something about it. He literally does like plus 1,000.
He's trying to do Roshan by himself right now. The arrow's going to come in. Hits Rosh. And Dream. Okay, that is his Invis breaking and spotted by a ward. Immediately TNC just start running at them.
Yeah, what's your play right now? Gambit, you've got to, if you had
another arrow.
Oh, the arrow hit.
Okay, but a force staff out of the pit. That is not going to feel good if you're Gambit. They thought they had an opportunity, and FNG is instead the one who's going to die here. Force out the BKB from Armel at least.
They're going to retreat.
He does have a buyback.
I think you pop it, most likely. Oh, he blinks back into it. He blinked to dodge it, only to tank an even longer.
Well, fortunately, he's tiny and he's got 2,700 HP, so...
All right, Gabby's back in the pit. I feel like you have to buy back if you're...
Well, FNG doesn't have buyback anymore, so he bought an item.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure what happened there. March,
He bought a ward or something. That...
March is there to be able to tank some arrows. Make sure Gabby's going to be okay. Double Fisher into the Enchant Totem Sun. Oh, they'll force that forward. That's going to be able to save Dream, but he time walks backwards. Now he's going to go for the Chronos.
Do they have him?
Down the air.
They've got him.
Gabby's finally going to fall. The Boogeyman is dead. And now Gambit can finally take a fight. Oh, no, he blocked back. Retreat. Get out. Everybody out. Dude, peace. That is their Roshan now.
That's okay. Oh, Lord, he's coming.
Oh, Lord, he coming. Arrow on its way will hit Tim's, but let's be honest, Gambit, they should really just sit in their base at this point. Without Chronosphere, they cannot fight Gabby.
Okay. They reset it a little bit.
Yeah, but
so
like...
now TNC have to, they've got to...
Yeah.
They've got to play around the Sages. There is an opportunity then for them to potentially... Oh, okay.
Oh.
There's no Chronos here, though, for 85 seconds.
The really
gotta wait for
sick
that.
part of this is that, like, you can kill Gabby and, like, maybe you take away his Aegis, but you can't run far enough. That 3 seconds of him reviving, like, you cannot get out fast enough. He will track you down.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Oh, there's another one. Liam Neeson.
Oh,
Gabby's
like
got
Taken?
Yeah. Gabby's got a certain set of skills. 14 to 20, 35 minutes in. Gambit are all inning on one bounty rune right now. And GPK will manage to snag it away from March, but he's been stunned up. Armel not able to get the avalanche. A good defensive force staff coming out. But here comes Gabby, and he's already spotted GPK thanks to the gem that he always has in his hands. He's going to be able to make sure the Invoker dies first. As always, it's pretty much a tradition at this point. And they'll get FNG as well. Meanwhile, Dream is like literally just trying to cut creep waves wherever he can. Fortunately, the Fisher does not stop his TP otherwise. Jesus.
All right, now he's got an Arcane Rune, too. So he's pretty much got the Perma Leap going. They're going to run down... So they have to somehow kill him twice.
Yeah.
I feel like if you lead with the Chrono, you're going to lose the fight. But I don't really know what the solution is either. It means that you've got to get a Dream Call here.
With the Blade Mail as well as the Arrow Macro Pyre. If they can somehow bring him down without using Chronosphere, it'd be great, but it looks like they're going to have to here. Oh no, he got hit by the Fisher. He didn't pop his BKB. Now he gets it off. He actually gets a beautiful. They're all in the Macro Pyre. Gabby's going to die first, but they need to be able to kill the supporting. And they don't get the chain stun onto Gabby that they desperately needed there because the Aeon Disc protecting Tim's means that nobody died on TNC. Dude, all they lost was the Aegis.
Tim's didn't have buyback. That could have been such a big opportunity for them. He was stuck in place. Okay. All right. Well,
somehow the man may be a better techies than he is a Mirana. You don't see that very often for a 4 position.
They're going to slowly lose this range racks to Venom Works.
Deny.
Oh, come on. You got to get that deny. All right, so they should just fight again. TNC, there's no Chrono now. There isn't an Aegis, so maybe they're a little bit afraid.
Tries to quickly execute as Vampire, but they managed to find the initiation. The arrow does manage to land this time on the Morphling. He's already strength force, so he's very hard to eat through, and Gabby immediately turns into a void. Oh no, he's going to be able to jump away. Earthshaker's out, and with that, TNC will be able to retreat unless this arrow, no, it doesn't land. TNC taking out once again, losing nobody, and this time they got the melee barracks.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Well, an Aghanim Scepter for the Invoker, at least. That is something that's a little different for Gambit. Do they have, what level is our Invoker? God, he's 18. I was like, he's got to be close to the Cataclysm, but no. Because every fight, he's the first to die, so he just doesn't get any experience.
And he's got a Blink Dagger, so I think that's his way of trying to separate from the team fights.
Yeah.
Because normally you can play around Ghostwalk, but maybe, all right, here's the play, right? You let this morph get so farmed that eventually he has to drop the gem. Just let him get 6-slotted.
I don't think that he's going to do that. Because he can consume the Aghanim Scepter first.
Just let him get 6-slotted.
You mean just let him get 9-slotted? Just let him consume his Aghanim Scepter, get another item, consume Moonshard, and then another item after that, and he'll have to drop gem.
Yes, sir.
But I don't think he will. Because I think he likes his life the way it is. I think he likes hunting down Invoker.
To be fair, I don't think he should actually, he should try to drop it as late as possible. It's actually so huge, the fact that there's literally nothing they can do against it right now.
Yeah. Okay, blind arrow, just thrown out. Does manage to find Tim's, so Gambit know that they're smoked up and they're heading this direction. They're willing to try and break the smoke here. Vampire, did he just land another arrow on Tim's? I think he did. But Gabby's saying, well, if you're going to hide up in that high ground, I'm just going to go for Megas at this point. You're going to be forced to defend at some point.
With Chrono, with the Satanic, maybe they've got a shot. There is still a window where Gabby doesn't have the buyback, and that's really what they're concerned about. They're trying to get that window as close as possible, so even if he dies, there's no like mad scramble down mid where they get mega creeped or anything like that.
Yeah.
So they probably wait out at least like 40 more seconds, and then they'll... And they could also just wait out the next Roche. It may respawn in only a minute and a half. That's not that bad. You have so much map control.
I just don't know when things change for Gambit. Like, maybe if the Invoker was close to Cataclysm, Shachlo's been bound.
Yes.
He is going to be used after Double Fisher coming out. Defensive Force Staff 2 coming out as well.
And they don't want to continue to chase that. That's the right idea if you're TNC. But you do have the level 20 now on the Invoker.
Oh, he's got it now?
Yeah. Things have changed. And he's picked up the Cataclysm.
Okay, so you get the right kind of Chronosphere. And he's been getting some good ones.
Yeah, and he's about to finish an Aeon Disc too. Like, the situation is sort of improving for Gambit.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Really where the...
Well, do you buy Aeon Disc, or do you just keep buyback?
You probably keep buyback, right?
Yeah, because they're kind of the same thing.
Yeah, you double your net worth here by just, buybacks, the best.
Heart for Armel, gracious. 4,300 HP. He doesn't even have the Aghanim Scepter yet, so that's going to be his next item for some tree volleying. In TNC, this is something that they've been really good at, is just controlling the game and not throwing away the lead that they have. Very patient, this team. Do you think this is March's influence?
Probably. I think that's probably what they were missing. Like, all the skill is there for TNC. They probably just needed a little bit more direction, which is why I think they look so much better with Heen.
Yeah.
But, like, he's not in game with them, so there's only so much he can change. But somebody like March, I think, helps control the dynamic of the team a little bit more actively.
Yeah, and KP is obviously another very experienced player, a veteran voice. 22,000 net worth lead for TNC. That's what they're holding on to. That's why we're talking about them being patient, because they've got 2 lanes of racks down. They've got a huge lead.
Invis picked up, but as we know, not the most effective of runes.
Okay, Moonlight Shadow, Gambit are going to push out here, and TNC is split.
Yo, it worked. There's no longer a gem on the morph. I told you. You get too big. This was the only way to win.
Instead.
Gambit,
Dream.
Gambit
they
are
actually get
geniuses.
into this fight. They're going to pop just a Sunstrike, not a Cataclysm. If they use Cataclysm, they would have seen that TNC is very split right now. It is a 3-2 setup. Granted, that is Tim's and Gabby,
Okay.
who could very quickly get to this side of the map, but another 4-staff. This is going to be the third 4-staff for Gambit. Or excuse me, that one was picked up by March, rather. So
Yeah, and indeed, they are waiting for the next Roche. They do have the buybacks, but arrows are just kind of being tossed up there.
well, now they have buyback on FNG, I guess, so he can do that. Not be afraid of dying, because he's got the buyback. Gabby is going to pick up the haste rune and go into that Roshan pit.
Do you think you take this fight here?
Gambit? Yeah. I mean, if anything, this is even better than defending your base in a way, right? Because if you do manage to win this fight and you manage to take away that Roshan,
No, get out of there, FNG.
so much cash, you could see it, whether it's the Fisher coming out from Tim's, the Fisher coming out from Gabby, or it's the Blink initiation from Armel. One misstep from one of these supports, or honestly even a core, they very quickly get one shot and picked off. GPK, he may be next in line as he has been Echo Slam to make sure he stays in place. Tim's, though, has run out of stuns. His allies were just a little bit slow to get there in time. So that's an ultimate used, I guess. But yeah, apparently they're just going to go for bounty runes instead of contesting the Roshan Sunstrike. Not quite going to be there in time to snatch the kill. So Aegis and Cheese.
And a 24,000 gold lead.
Yeah. And Scotty.
Smurf needs more damage cap.
Yeah, does he?
What do you want me to say, man? He needs more everything right now. There is a Aeon disc picked up on GPK now, and now that the gem is outside of the Morph's hands, we had... that's a positive.
Yeah.
It's actually such a big thing for GPK's game. Otherwise, right now, every single time, the fight looked the same. Gabby just slams on top of him, he dies in 2 seconds. Then they're playing without their mid-hero.
I'm just a little bit befuddled because I'm so very certain that TNC could just brute force that bottom lane, but they're being so careful about it.
Oh, look at this.
And eventually they're going to get the pick off that finally says, okay, with Aegis and Cheese and a pick off, we can go high ground. Hey, they managed to get the Aeon disc away from Tim's.
Okay, nice. That's step one.
No, that's not nice. Because the way TNC's playing right now, they may just wait for that Aeon disc to come off cooldown before pushing high ground. Arrow after arrow.
No, it hits again for like the 4th arrow he's hit, but they can't do anything with it. And now,
Fisher 1, Fisher 2, Excess Vampire. 4-staff got him away from that enchant totem jump in from Gabby.
they're literally not even trying to dodge these.
Well, that's one way to establish some dominance. They do have level 25 coming in very soon for this Faceless Void. And that is massive if you manage to backtrack an enchant totem hit from the Morph, like to call in. They're going to be able to find the initiation on Armel, who's super tanky. The Meteor is going to be able to bring down about 3/4, but then he's confused. Jumps forward, Dream. What are you throwing down? Forward, but he's already been tossed up, being chain stunned up. Does manage to get up his BKB, though. He's going to continue to try and get this kill onto Armel. They tried before with the Cataclysm, with all the damage coming out from Dream. It's still not even close to being enough. Armel is sitting at a very healthy 50%, while Gabby is going for the backline. He's already managed to finish up the Rana. Looks like he should be able to get shots as well. No, 4-staff gets him back into the fountain. Dream with no Chronosphere to be able to fight Gabby. He needs to pray for chain stuns here, and he's not going to be able to get it either. He does have a buyback, but Gabby, a Manta dodge on the call from Shotflow, so he can keep on swinging on a GBK with Tim's hitting a 3-man Echo Slam. Just the cherry victory on top for TNC as they just whomp on Gambit. They establish very clearly that this was an 80-20 victory.
Ooh.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
More than doubled them in kills.
Rough game.
That is a
If you're
rough game.
Gambit.
I mean, Gabby probably at the time of his life.
Yeah.
More fuel for my fire.
Вайда тоже можно и на оффлейн использовать, там фантомансера можно как мидера использовать, ну вот спектру ты как кэри только используешь.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant are scanning.